You know, for over 40 years, the Tron franchise has been this incredible cultural touchstone, always pushing the boundaries of what movies can do. And now, the third chapter, Tron Heirs, is finally on its way, and it is absolutely continuing another big Tron tradition, sparking a massive, massive debate.
So go ahead and mark your calendars. When Disney dropped this logo and the release date, they didn't just announce a movie. Oh no. They basically set the internet on fire, and the franchise's super passionate fan base had a lot to say.
And yeah, this comment pretty much nails the feeling, right? As soon as the first few plot details got out, the skepticism just exploded online. Fans immediately started wondering, wait, what are they doing with this movie?
So what's the deal here? Is it a bold new step, or are they kind of betraying what made Tron so special in the first place? That is the big question we're going to dig into today. We're going to look at both sides, the totally valid fears of the fans and the really ambitious vision that the filmmakers are putting forward.
Okay, first, let's just take a quick step back. The original Tron from 1982 and Tron Legacy from 2010, they were absolutely groundbreaking. These weren't just movies you'd go see. They were events. They totally changed the game for what sci-fi could look like, what it could feel like, creating this amazing, neon-drenched world inside a computer.
But see, that incredible legacy, that's exactly why so many fans are worried. When that first summary of the plot came out, it felt like the very foundation of what they loved about Tron was suddenly on some really shaky ground.
This quote right here, wow, it really gets to the core of the problem for a lot of people. The idea of moving the story out of the digital grid and into the real world. For so many, that just felt wrong, like a complete misunderstanding of what makes Tron, well, Tron. The whole magic of it is the grid.
And look, the worries didn't stop with the plot. People immediately started talking about the director, Joachim Rønning, the guy who did Pirates of the Caribbean 5, which, let's just say, didn't land well with everyone. And then there's the casting of Jared Leto, which has been a whole can of worms from day one.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap the big worries from the fans. First, the setting. We're leaving the grid. Second, the plot. Is this just going to be another AI takes over the world movie? Third, you've got the director and the star, which people have some very strong feelings about. And maybe the biggest one for a lot of people, the music. Come on, Daft Punk's soundtrack for Legacy? It's legendary. And the fact that they're not back, that is a tough pill to swallow.
But that's just one side of the disc. So now let's flip it over and hear what the people actually making the movie have to say, because they're telling a very, very different story about what Tron Heirs is really all about.
And this right here, this is the whole debate in a nutshell, isn't it? On one hand, fans are saying, you're betraying the setting. But the director, Joachim Rønning, is saying, no, this is an evolution. For him, the real story isn't the grid itself. It's about a character who comes from the grid and has to figure out what our world is all about. So who exactly is this Ares character? Well, the official story is that he's this super advanced program sent out of the digital world and into ours on a mission. And you gotta understand, this is a big deal in this universe. This isn't just some chatbot. It's the first time humanity has ever come face to face with an AI being. And this is the part you really need to get. The filmmakers, they're not trying to make Terminator. They keep saying it's a Pinocchio story. Producer Jeffrey Silver puts it perfectly. It's that classic tale of a character who isn't human, trying to figure out what it actually means to be a person, to be real.
All right, so let's talk about the tech. Because a big part of Tron has always been about pushing the envelope, right? And the creators are arguing that even though the story is set in the real world, they are absolutely honoring that legacy of innovation.
So producer Sean Bailey actually laid it out pretty clearly. He says any Tron movie has to do three things. 1, say something about the future. 2, push the technology of how movies are made. And 3, explore our own relationship with technology. And they're convinced that Heirs nails all three of those.
And get this, they are not kidding about the innovation. We're talking old-school practical effects, which is just awesome. The light suits were built with over 7,000 individual pieces and almost a mile of LED strips. But the craziest part? Those light cycle chases, they actually did them for real, hitting speeds of up to 130 miles an hour on the streets of Vancouver. That's insane.
And yay, if you're still worried we're not going to see the grid, don't be. The filmmakers say we're not just going back, we're actually getting more of it. Apparently, we're going to see 3 totally different grids, each with its own color and its own vibe, from a red, hellish-looking one to the classic, iconic blue grid that we all know and love.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the music. So no Daft Punk, but they got 9 Inch Nails. And the thinking here was very deliberate. They wanted to evolve the sound.
They don't see Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross as just a replacement. They see them as the next step in a tradition of using digital pioneers for the score, this time aiming for a grittier feel to match that real-world setting. So all of this, the practical effects, the different grids, the new music, it all serves that one central idea the filmmakers keep coming back to. This journey Ares takes from being just a piece of code to, well, being a person.
The story isn't really about a classic AI invasion, not like you might think. It's all about what they're calling his awakening. As he's out there in our world, seeing how we live, he starts to question everything. His programming, his mission, what he was supposed to be doing.
And again, the director just keeps hammering home that Pinocchio idea. He says to think of Ares like an infant, just discovering the world for the very first time. The hope is that as we watch him, we'll start to see our own world through those fresh eyes too, and maybe appreciate the stuff we just take for granted.
So there you have it, the two sides of the coin. On one side, you've got the skeptics, who are worried this is just another generic AI movie that completely misses the point of Tron. And on the other, you have the creators who are promising something totally different, a deep, character-driven story, kind of like the classic movie Starman, all about an outsider learning what it means to be human.
Now, I don't want to spoil everything, but from what we know about the ending, it seems like both main characters end up in a completely new place. Eve Kim gets control of the big tech company, ENCOM, and uses its power for good. And Ares? After everything he goes through, he finds his humanity and decides to stay right here, in our world. Which brings us right back to where we started, with that one big question. Is Tron Heirs going to be a brilliant new program that expands the whole legacy, or is it going to feel more like a virus that corrupts the original source code? Right now, the debate is hotter than ever, and the final verdict? Well, I guess that's going to be up to us, the users.